To South Korea now, where Prime Minister Mark Carney is on a mission to boost trade with Asia. U.S. President Donald Trump is also there, and the two leaders met across a table today, but not in the way you might think. The two leaders were invited to a dinner hosted by South Korea's president. It followed a searing post today by Donald Trump on social media that he was not in the country to meet with Canada. Despite that awkwardness of the situation, the two seemed to interact positively. A reporter later asked the Prime Minister if he had spoken to Trump, and here's that quick exchange.
Dinner, Prime Minister, you chat with the President at all, sir?
Very good. I had a very good conversation with all the presidents.
Okay, so a brief response there. Carney said he's had productive trade conversations ahead of the APEC summit. The CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian is traveling with the Prime Minister, and he has more on the visit to South Korea and what transpired between Carney and Donald Trump at that working dinner.
They kind of pointed at each other when the U.S. president arrived into that room. He was the last of the 8 leaders at that dinner to get there, and sort of pointed at Carney, the Prime Minister pointing at him back. It's hard to tell if they actually spoke, though. There is some sense that they exchanged a quick word, but no cameras were close enough to capture that audio. And certainly we were told by a Canadian government official that Prime Minister Carney had no intention of interacting with the president this evening. Hard to escape, though, the presence of the U.S. president here. I mean, in those arrival shots you showed, you can see Air Force One was actually right behind the Canadian plane when Mark Carney landed. And then, of course, they end up right across from each other at this intimate dinner. There were always only going to be 8 guests. We didn't have a sense that there was only going to be one table for all of them until we got to South Korea ourselves. The two countries very much still at odds due to these trade talks being cut off because of that Ontario government TV ad. The sense we're getting from a Canadian government official is that nobody on the Canadian side has tried reaching out to the American side since last Thursday. And nobody from the American side seems to have spoken to the Canadian side either. And this evening's event is really the only time that the Prime Minister and the President will sort of, there could be a chance that they would interact, because Donald Trump is leaving sometime tomorrow, while Mark Carney will be here for a couple of more days. We know that it's the first time they've been in the same room since last Thursday. Though both men were in Malaysia, they didn't speak there either at the first of the major 2 summits in Asia this week.
Thanks, Rafi. That's the latest from the CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian covering the Prime Minister's visit to Asia.